Hey there, fight fans. Finally, the almighty Dana White has given millions of fans a celebration by granting a very high-profile rematch between Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev.
I'm excited for him and Islam to fight again.
Let's go. It doesn't matter where. Let's go.
Now, despite the fact that neither fighter initially desired this matchup, Dana's decision is final and non-negotiable. The reason being that Dana and his team have a remarkable track record of understanding and even delivering what the majority of fans want, because they know that Oliveira will be different this time around, and Makhachev will not be in tune for a rematch with Oliveira properly. Why? Well, without making a long introduction, let's just go ahead and get straight to the point.
I promise you, I'm gonna get this back.
As you remember, in 2022, before the Makhachev-Oliveira fight, Islam had a huge responsibility. He had an important task ahead, to prove to the whole world that Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov's school was the best in the world. He needed to live up to the prophecies of his coach, Khabib's father, that after Khabib, Islam would become the champion.
Хорошо живется, Абдулманап, да?
Четвертый был Ислам. Помнишь, да? Ну, ладно, сейчас. Сейчас ты вот в финале, сейчас. А ты будет в финале. Я вот вижу и считаю, что Кhabib должен заменить Ислама Макхачева на чемпионском троне. Я жду этого, я буду счастлив, если Khabib уйдет непобежденным и на его месте придет Ислам Макхачев.
At that time, everyone was talking about that. Khabib fought only strikers and never met a real master on the ground. Some even claim that the Eagle avoided the Brazilian. Therefore, Islam had a huge responsibility. Makhachev needed to dispel any and all doubts and bring the belt back to Dagestan. And it wasn't just about a winning over Oliveira, but doing it convincingly on his own territory in the ground game. And Islam, well, he handled that task pretty well. However, in the rematch, it will not be the same. Makhachev is going up against a man he has already defeated pretty easily. That's why it's challenging to mentally prepare for such a battle in this situation. Underestimating the opponent has never led to anything good. Moreover, Oliveira knows what awaits him in Abu Dhabi and must be psychologically better prepared, as it is his last chance to reclaim the belt. If he does not succeed, it is going to be very difficult for him to get another shot. He will have to face a lot of hungry lions in order to get that chance to get another title shot. Therefore, starting off with this very important detail, Oliveira will be arriving in Abu Dhabi well in advance for acclimation. This decision comes after previous experience in October of 2022 when Charles arrived in the UAE too late, leaving him very insufficient time to properly acclimate before his fight. Originally planning to fly to Abu Dhabi 20 days prior, he could only make it 12 days in advance. And if you remember, this caused some concern for his opponent Islam Makhachev, who feared that Oliveira might actually withdraw from the fight due to limited preparation time. So, to avoid these issues this time around, Do Bronx is taking the necessary steps to ensure that he arrives with ample time in order to adapt to the new environment. Oliveira's body was not accustomed to such climate, which had a very negative impact on his performance in the previous fight. He was not in optimal physical condition, and he even looked less confident both on the ground and in the stand-up, although his striking is at a very high level. Therefore, learning from bitter experience, Oliveira does intend to arrive in Abu Dhabi at the end of September, so that there is plenty of time for a full adjustment. This is strategically a very important decision, which will probably help him to be in the best shape before the fight. So now let's see what Makhachev has in terms of cardio. Well, in the Volkanovski versus Makhachev fight, Volkanovski demonstrated one very important thing: how to deplete Makhachev's cardio. Volkanovski in clinches attacked Makhachev's body in order to deplete his opponent's gas tank, and Oliveira can easily do the same. Now, we can agree that in the first fight, Oliveira's distinctive elbows, knees, and Muay Thai clinches were scarcely seen.
But if Charles do Bronx could really make those adjustments, kick, move, take a little bit of Volkanovski, getting up sooner rather than later, then I can see it being a different fight. I mean, these are a lot of questions that need to be answered, because I do believe Charles. I do believe Charles that he wasn't there. I really do. You know, I think the lights, you know, the Khabib thing, like having this fight in Abu Dhabi, you know, because if it's the same Charles with the same game plan, he's in trouble once again. he's in trouble once again.
Although another important detail is that Makhachev will be fighting without Khabib in his corner. In his first bout in October 2022, Islam arrived in Abu Dhabi with his team, led by Nurmagomedov. It is undeniable that having Khabib in your corner is a great help and even a confidence booster for really any fighter. Timely advice, motivational support during the rounds, and most importantly, Khabib knows how to properly set up a fighter.
Hey, you! Why are these guys calling you crazy?
Coach, please.
Huh?
Every day kill everybody. I don't know why.
Buy for him ticket and send him Russia, please.
Someone might argue that Islam has already fought without Khabib in his corner, but then he could have suffered a defeat. Even to this day, there are debates about who truly won that fight. And another important detail, and one that I believe is very crucial, is that everyone forgets that Makhachev is not Khabib, and he sometimes does take hits. Former UFC champ Khabib Nurmagomedov faced very skilled strikers like Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, and even Edson Barbosa. But can you remember any fight in which the Eagle came out with a bloodied up face? No, because it never happened. But Makhachev, well, he has taken plenty of hits. Adrian Martins even managed to knock him out. Alexander Volkanovski caught Islam with a huge strike, and Oliveira is also a very skilled striker. He hits like a train. I mean, remember when Gaethje mentioned that Charles hits pretty hard?
I want Charles Oliveira to show me that he's not a quitter.
And he hurt me often. He hurt me early. 10 seconds in, I was really hurt, and probably 4 times after that, I felt something I've never felt in a cage.
So if Do Bronx does land some shots on Makhachev, the champion will have a very tough time. In a fight against Dariush, he was able to shake Beneil with a high kick even though it was even partially blocked. But despite the fact that very few people consider Islam a striker, his skills in the stand-up and on the ground are at a pretty good level. The jab, due to which he perfectly keeps his distance, as well as the two, are the tools with which the Russian does not allow skillful strikers to reveal themselves to their fullest potential. So this fight has a lot of interest because either man could easily win, despite the fact that Makhachev had previously defeated Oliveira last year in a pretty convincing manner. And given the way that these athletes fight, there is a good chance the fight will not go the entire distance. But the fact remains that Makhachev is still a phenomenal fighter, and Oliveira will still find it pretty difficult to defeat him.
I'm gonna finish him because he always give up. I'm gonna do this again.
There's something missing here. The champion has a name, and it's Charles Oliveira from the Bronx.
But either way, it is going to be an amazing fight. I have a lot of respect for Oliveira for even accepting this challenge. But what are your thoughts on all of this? Who do you think will emerge victorious? Share your opinions down in the comments below.